SpaceX is teaming up with Vast to send up a space station. Your thoughts?
I don't know anything about this story. I legitimately, you told me this and I was like, the last thing I heard about SpaceX was that their ship exploded. So now you're telling me this and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it was, yeah, okay. Well, either way, the space startup Vast partnered with Team X or SpaceX to put a school bus-sized space station into orbit. And their goal is 2025.
That's actually a really short time frame.
Yeah, which is surprising because considering what you just said, where the SpaceX rocket that they were probably using to move up there, because if you think about the size of the space shuttle they're talking about, and that's like school bus sized, and then if you think about the SpaceX shuttle that recently kind of blew up. There's probably about the same thing, you know, like there's probably 1-to-1, unless they were thinking about like creating it in space. But I think they're probably gonna use that same technology that didn't work as expected then.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm wondering why they're trying to put a space station, especially now. I feel like really?
I think there's a lot of money to be made because I think there's like a lot of money to be made because astronauts need to get to space, and having like a space taxi would be really good. Plus, the International Space Station, the ISS, is set to be decommissioned in the coming years. So they're going to have a private option up there now. Is what they're trying to go for. So then private companies or NASA can continue doing their space experiments and not have to like stop.
You know what though? I did not know that.
Really?
I didn't know that. I think that's crazy that's actually happening. I feel like there's also like new like new interests in space, especially with everything that SpaceX has been doing. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's great that they're putting something like that up there. I honestly think that I think the experiments actually, I think it's like, I need to research more into what experiments they do up there, because that sounds pretty cool.
So they do like a lot of like growing stuff in space, or like radiation research, or like the effects of the being in space type research. Because a lot of times, like in the future, like if you're gonna go do space travel, you have to be up in space for a long time, and a lot of it is also like testing and seeing the effects of zero gravity on people or animals, or maybe not animals, but like different things. Because if you need to have food up there, so they're doing that, and apparently they also do like research on like different like bacteria and stuff as well. Because like those things like operate differently in space or in zero gravity versus like in gravity.
Yeah, you know what too? You also just reminded me that, didn't Elon Musk say that he wanted to make a space dome on Mars?
Makes sense.
So I think this is perfect, especially if they're able to do if they're shuttling people over there.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot more things that are going to, because like once they prove the concept, there's going to be more interest in putting their things into space, or like using the platform for their experiments or whatever they're going to do up there. And then eventually, yeah, they need to have like an intermediary between Earth and wherever they're going to go. So like maybe that's like the next goal, is like making like some sort of refill station in space.
That makes
either
sense.
On the moon or just out of orbit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially like if Yeah, if they don't need to, if they could land a rocket on the moon, then it'd be like they'd be able to travel a lot further distances.
Yeah.
And SpaceX has been like the pioneer on being able to. I think it's the only company that does land rockets. Like
in general,
yeah, re-land rockets.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be exactly the selling point. I think that's for that one. It's more like the reusability of the first stage, because that costs a lot of money if you're throwing away all those like rocket boosters and stuff every single time you send something to space.
Yeah.
So like that's that, but I don't know if the other one can like.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
To look into.
Yeah, I think overall though it is an interesting topic. I think that I feel like I don't know too much about this portion of science, so I think it's good to know.
The space portion?
Just the space and rockets.
The question also is like, do you think that this is like a worthwhile thing to do? Do you think space travel is where we should be putting money? There's another like podcast out there, but I mean like in general. Put this in the end.
Yeah, I think it is worthwhile to do, especially like I feel like a lot of I'm just thinking of Elon Musk wanting to put people in space and people in different planets, and eventually just like terraforming other places and making other planets livable. I think it's like an interesting, and I think it's maybe worthwhile to look into. So I think it's probably money well spent. Yeah, at least that's my opinion. But I mean, I know they're shooting satellites and other stuff into space, so
that's true.
So yeah, they're making money that way too.
Yeah, they're also sending satellites, and they have the Starlink, their internet service.
Yeah, it's also what saved Tesla. SpaceX saved Tesla. Yeah, because he got a contract with the government for that. Yeah, so I think it's
look at them now.
Yes.
Look at them now.